Hello, my name is Omar Abisad. It is Tuesday, February 13, 2018 at 6:50 p.m. in Toronto. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the targeting and the ongoing targeting that I experience. I just started a new job, great company, good people, being trained in real estate. I'm doing a portfolio, the books, the complete cycle for about 25 buildings or so. So right now we are doing the month end. And this is stuff that I did before. So today was a good day. Very fast paced training. Um, because of course the assumption is that I know a lot of stuff, which I do. So there was there was no incident that could be perceived as mental health episodes. Absolutely none. There was no arguments, no nothing. So anyway, so there's some comments I heard in the bus and walking to and from that there was a call made to the cops, and there was a mental health episode, a new one to be reported, and I'm going to be removed. A writ was signed for removal because we vented, and that venting was recorded. Now, if you're targeted and you're venting, venting is a great way to keep yourself sane. Venting, by definition, is to get the anger out. How do you get the anger out? Well, it's the equivalent of or it's a substitute, I should say, of standing in front of somebody and calling them names because they hurt you and you want to hurt them back. It's a reflex action. And what you're doing really is not making it better, you're just venting the anger. So instead of doing that and hurting the person, what you do is, what I do is sometimes I turn on the camera and I vent, and I record it and I run it back, and I replay it and I listen to myself. And most of the times, if you did that yourself, you'd understand that this is not the way you want to be perceived by other people. So this is what venting is all about: punching up, putting your fist through a punching bag when you're angry. It's anger. It's natural. It's normal when you're harassed. This is one way to keep yourself sane. However, in my building, because I'm targeted, this venting is being recorded again and again and again by neighbors who stand outside my door and do this. And it's presenting this information as evidence for mental evaluation that should not be done. They're saying things like I look lost, I look really tired, my foot is swollen. I have no contact with anybody in the building. I don't talk about my personal life to anyone in the building. If they say hello to me, I would say hello back. I try not to have contact with the neighbors because I know what's going on. I know that they are reporting on me. I know they are trying to get me removed because there is a legal matter going on. So I try to stay away from confrontations, even conversations at this point. If I have conversations on the phone, in the corridor, these things are taken personally and they are called. The cops are called for no reason. Security guard is called for no reason. This is just out and out harassment. There was one very concerning comment that I heard, and a Chinese a man said this. He said, "No peekabooing. You should not be looking at people." And I heard the word sauna. So this made me think about um, what incident that took place that could have been perceived this way. So there was an incident. This is a little while ago that in which I was in the gym in the sauna, and I'm never naked in the dressing room. In the sauna, I have a towel over me all the time. So I was there, and this girl um, was there, and she was sitting on the upper level of the seating, um, on the bench, the upper level of the benches. And she had her legs, she was completely naked, and she had her legs brought up. Her knees was bent, her legs brought up, and her head was on her knees. And she was completely naked, sitting on the upper level facing the door. And I looked at her and I thought, wow, this is a strange way for a woman to be sitting. And I was about, her head was down, so I thought maybe she was really upset and she didn't care who was looking at her. So I thought maybe if I said something really nicely to her and draw the attention back to the way she was sitting, if she was upset about something, because it looked like almost like she was crying. So sometimes if you're upset, then sometimes you do things that you're not aware of. So I was about to say something, and then I decided not to. Um, so maybe that was an incident that was misinterpreted deliberately by some, people in the sauna, Chinese, of course. And I say Chinese, of course, because I am being heavily targeted by people in the building because they want me removed because of a legal matter that's on hand. Anyway, so this is how misinterpretations are reported, deliberate misinterpretations. I'm 57 years old. I babysat my brother's kids since they were 6 months old. Um, I was going on 14 at the time. That's when I started babysitting them. I also babysat my sister's child, son, since he was born. And, these kids slept on my chest because they refused to be on the floor. And when I put them down, they would creep right back up on me. So this is how they were brought up with me. So I have a really strong maternal instinct towards kids, younger kids. And anybody, in their 20s to me is young. Um, so I instinctively try to, I have this protective thing about kids. So, if I were looking at somebody, it was probably to decide whether I should say something or not. There was absolutely nothing sexual about it. In the Hindu way, upbringing, my upbringing, kids weren't sexualized, at least in my experience. I was running around naked at 5 years old, not because we didn't have clothes, but because it was hot and I would take my clothes off. Uh, and, and my mother couldn't get me to keep them on. And this was inside the house, not outside the house. So, this to me, uh, um, to be sexualized this way is foreign to me. I think that women are sexualized in North America so completely so that sometimes we can't see a woman in any other way other than a sexual being. And this is being taken advantage of right now by predators, prostitution ring operators, traffickers. So they're doing the best to sexualize their prey, their target, in order to sell. And since I'm targeted this way, they're insisting, these traffickers, that I'm a prostitute when I never was one. So they're trying their best to sexualize me, to portray me as some sort of a sexual pervert, take my maternal instinct and turn it into something sexual. It's the same way I feel about my sick brother. If somebody's sick, they bring out in me the same feeling that I have as a child, as I have towards a child. You get this need to help and protect. Um, and that is not a sexual thing at all, at all. So, just one example of the many, many ways that um, my my life is being um, portrayed in a sexual way, just as an example. My whole public persona is being changed into one where I'm completely sexualized, a sex slave, a prostitute, a whore, when just the complete opposite is true. Bamboozle it. That's part of the targeting program. Somebody's bamboozling the public. Talk to you another time.